How often do you feel really, truly seen? And how often do you really see someone? I mean, really see them. Hi, I'm Michelle Henshaw, and I just wanted to share with you a conversation I've had this morning with a lovely client of mine in a rather extended session. I've in the past had quite a few South African clients, and the lady I had the session with this morning is South African, and the greeting, whenever we first get on the session together, the greeting is always from her, Sawubona. And I have had this with a couple of my other South African clients, and she has taught me that the correct response is Yebo Sawubona. Now I want to explain to you what that means, but also the significance of it and what we were having a conversation about around it this morning. And Sawubona, in its literal translation, although it's used as a greeting, like hello, how are you? Its literal translation is I see you. And in seeing you, I bring you into reality. How beautiful is that? And then the response, Yebo Sawubona, is and I see you too. And that creates just the most incredible connection, a very powerful connection. And it started to lead to a conversation between us about, and I won't disclose her name, but a lot of what we've been talking about in our sessions recently has been the fact that in her life and in her business, because she is a part owner in a business with two other people, and she has a partner, an extended family and children. And a lot of what we've been talking about in our sessions, ironically, is the fact that she doesn't really feel seen and heard. That she really doesn't feel seen, heard and acknowledged, and her contribution and her feelings and her desires and dreams for herself and her business are not always seen and heard. And so this greeting, Sawubona, I see you, and therefore bring you into reality, was really poignant. And it just really struck me that, I've been doing this 15 years now. And a lot, I would say that probably 80%, a huge majority of my clients are women. Because I am a woman in business, and I was a female leader in corporate, and so I can relate to a lot of the issues that women in business and women in the corporate environment go through. But also I'm a woman who is a survivor, a woman who was once a child and who is a survivor, and who really struggled to find her voice, literally and metaphorically. As a child, I was an only child, and I grew up in a pretty horrific environment with my mother that most of you will know about. And I developed a stammer, a stress-related stammer. And so quite literally, I found it difficult to get my voice out. But metaphorically and emotionally too, because I was the hidden child. I always believed that it was safer for me to stay hidden, that would keep me safe, that staying hidden would keep me safe. And of course I learned as I grew up, and particularly as I started to learn all the stuff that I use in my work now in neuroanthropology and psychology and etc., that staying hidden doesn't keep you safe. It keeps you small. And one of the most important learnings for me was about making the right connections in order to feel seen and heard, and to not only empower me to use my voice, but to encourage me to use my voice. And connections are super powerful in that respect. Now, I could go on about connections for quite a long time. There are so many different facets and elements to the thing around connection. But particularly today, there is connection to yourself, there's connection to your message, there's connection to your purpose, there's connection to others, there's connection to your wider community. But today I really want to talk about that power in being seen and being heard. And that incredible South African greeting, Sawubona, that quite literally means I see you. And in seeing you, I bring you into reality. And the response that it requires, that is Yebo Salbana, which means I see you too. And just to make that greeting, to receive that greeting and respond to that greeting, requires a powerful connection that really makes you feel seen and heard and acknowledged. And I think a lot of what we feel in our lives and our businesses in terms of disconnect is because of that missing element of not really feeling seen and heard. And the connections that we make are super important to that feeling of connection, you know, connecting to the right tribe, being in the right space, surrounding yourself with the right people, getting that, feeling supported, feeling seen, feeling heard, feeling acknowledged is super, super important. And so I just wanted to jump on and share that beautiful experience with you and let you know that I know that a lot of the disconnect that you may feel is because of that feeling of not being seen, acknowledged and heard. And my promise to you, and the whole reason that I do the work I do, and the reason that my clients have the incredible transformations and shifts that they do, and the reason that I've set up my community is because I see you. I see you and I feel you. Not from academic study, but from experience, from empathy, from compassion, and from the heart. So, Salbana, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you again soon.